a 16-year-old math prodigy suddenly becomes a cold-blooded killer, murdering his own parents. But that's only the beginning of a monster named Shamo. In a world of fists and blood, he doesn't need honor. He only needs to survive. Can an outcast, rejected by the world, use his blood-stained hands to reach the top? Let's explore the frantic survival instinct in the movie, Shamo. On a bright, sunny morning, a family of 4 was sitting together, enjoying a warm breakfast. But the scene suddenly shifted, and the parents were already lying in a pool of blood. High school student Ryo was arrested for murdering his parents. An act so inhumane and beastly sent shockwaves through society. But whenever asked why he killed his parents, Ryo would fall silent. Because he was a minor, he was sentenced to 2 years in prison. On his first day at the prison, he received a very warm welcome, but it was all just an act. In the blink of an eye, Ryo was hung upside down by the prison bully, given a thorough cleaning from the inside out. Seeing his fair and tender skin, he was pinned down and brutally assaulted. His chubby friend was scared out of his wits. After the bully finished, the warden appeared before him. Ryo wanted to ask for help, but towards a criminal so bestial, the warden only looked down on him with contempt. He pulled out a stun baton and gave him a warm visit. Thus began Ryo's hellish life from that point on. Soon after, his sister Natsumi came to visit him. She, who used to be so pure and cute, had now dressed herself up like a Yankee girl. Natsumi demanded to know why he killed their parents, causing her to not be able to go to high school, and having their house and money taken away by relatives. Now, she had no choice but to go far away to work. I didn't have a choice, it's all because of you. Doing what? Be a hooker. Ryo couldn't accept this truth. He was so agitated he couldn't control himself. But his sister's next words became the final straw that broke him. I won't give you the address. I don't want to see you again for the rest of my life. His sister's departure, combined with the dark life in prison, left him with no hope to live. In the end, Ryo chose to end his life. But just as he was about to smash his head into the toilet, a sinister and domineering man stepped in and saved him. His name is Kurokawa Ryo-kun, a karate master, arrested for attempting to assassinate the prime minister. Seeing the way Ryo refused to yield while being bullied by the prison tyrant, Ryo-kun felt like he was looking at his younger self. He decided to take this young man as his disciple, to help him step out of the shadows, and at the same time, pass down his martial arts skills. Because Ryo-kun's karate had reached the pinnacle, all the inmates in the prison held him in the utmost respect. Even the warden treated him with courtesy. Ryo-kun had clearly become the boss of the place. Ryo was also amazed by Ryo-kun's punches. Ryo-kun explained every detail, from how to make a fist, the starting stance, generating power, and executing a punch, one detail at a time. But seeing that after practicing for a long time, Ryo hadn't made any progress, Ryo-kun simply dragged him into the ring and directly let the bully who had tormented him before spar with him in actual combat. Because of the trauma he had experienced, Ryo was too afraid to fight back. After being beaten black and blue, he suddenly realized, if this went on, he would probably be beaten to death. So he finally clenched his fist, following the power generation method taught by Ryo-kun, and knocked the bully down with one punch. The inmates around were instantly scared into dead silence. From then on, Ryo became Ryo-kun's final disciple. Every day, he underwent his master's special training. When practicing punches, every move is counted in the thousands. Over 1,000 times, the muscles will develop memory. Over 5,000 times, it becomes a natural reflex. Even through a wall, Ryo-kun could hear the flaws in Ryo's every move. And so, under Ryo-kun's dedicated guidance, Ryo's martial arts improved by leaps and bounds, and he earned his own place in the prison. But the bully he had knocked down earlier wasn't about to let it go. He brought a group of his henchmen to confront him. In the end, Ryo used the terrain to his advantage and defeated them one by one. The leading bully was beaten so badly he fled in panic. After this, no one dared to bully Ryo again. Time flew by, 2 years passed, and Ryo's release date was approaching. The warden didn't want this cold-blooded murderer to leave, so he asked Ryo-kun to step in, promising that if he could take care of Ryo, he would approve Ryo-kun's early release. Ryo-kun lived up to the warden's expectations and defeated Ryo in just a few moves, leaving him utterly defenseless. But seeing his disciple, who refused to give in no matter what, Ryo-kun's heart softened in the end. And so, Ryo-kun was sent to the most severe prison. Meanwhile, Shima Ryo was released. But after being released, Shima Ryo found himself out of place in this world. No one wanted to hire a murderer. Under everyone's discrimination and rejection, Shima Ryo became increasingly despondent. Fortunately, he still had his handsome looks. He went to a nearby nightclub to work as a gigolo. One day, just after serving a client, he saw the IF International Fighting Tournament on TV. Seeing the champion, Ma Qian Dao, so glorious and admired, Shima Ryo's face showed envy. The rich lady next to him noticed this and began to mock him, calling him trash, that you'll never be anyone important in this lifetime. This shattered the last bit of his dignity. Shima Ryo flew into a rage and beat the woman. At this moment, he seemed to finally have woken up. He suddenly remembered he still had a sister and began to search for news of her. He also met Xiao Hui, his sister's best friend. Just then, several thugs came looking for him. Following the rich woman's complaint, Shima Ryo easily knocked them out, but then realized his sister's bracelet was missing. He mistakenly thought the thugs took it, so he chased after them. During the chase, he accidentally barged into the IF International Tournament venue. The exhilarating feeling of every punch landing with flesh and bone, and the sense of achievement from being the center of attention, made Shima Ryo yearn for it deeply. He made up his mind he would definitely take part in the IF International Fighting Tournament. But just then, a group of thugs suddenly attacked. Shima Ryo immediately fought back. His outstanding skills caught the attention of Wang Yu, the chairman of Fanlong Hui, and Chao, the chairman of New Fanlong Hui. But no matter how skilled he was still no match for the sheer number of opponents. Soon, Shima Ryo was knocked down. To be humiliated like this the first time he returned to the public eye, Shima Ryo became a laughingstock for everyone. He was thrown out of the venue by security. After he healed, Shima Ryo felt frustrated, so he went to a bar with his friend Fatty to drown his sorrows. Unexpectedly, Chao suddenly appeared and took him to tour his dojo. It turned out that Chao was also a disciple of Ryo-kun, and he wanted Shima Ryo, this junior fellow apprentice, to compete on behalf of his new Fanlong Hui. But just by looking at the names, it was clear Chao and Wang Yu were at odds. Sure enough, soon after, Wang Yu led his men in to challenge the dojo. After some conversation, Shima Ryo learned that Chao used to be a member of Fanlong Hui, and later betrayed Wang Yu to start his own group. Several disciples, refusing to accept this, charged at Wang Yu, but before they could even exchange 3 moves, they were beaten to the ground. Chao was forced to fight, but his skill was not much better than those disciples. He was defeated in less than 10 rounds. He was also thoroughly humiliated by Wang Yu. Shima Ryo found it strange how could someone with such skills dare to set up his own school. It turned out Chao had injured his left eye in a match and was abandoned by Fanlong Hui, forcing him to go out and start his own faction. After knocking down Chao, Wang Yu finally revealed his true purpose. It turned out he was only there to recruit Shima Ryo. As long as Shima Ryo could defeat Chao, he would allow him to participate in the IF International Tournament. For Shima Ryo, this was truly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He struck without any hesitation. The senior disciple with the eye injury was quickly defeated. To show his determination, he even broke Chao's leg. At last, he had obtained the entry he had dreamed of for so long. Afterward, Shima Ryo ran into Xiao Hui on the street. She returned Natsumi's bracelet. The two kept in touch and became a couple. With his personal life settled, Shima Ryo could now focus on preparing for the IF International Tournament. Soon, his first opponent appeared. He was a Chang, known as the #1 Muay Thai fighter in Thailand. Muay Thai is fierce and domineering. Shima Ryo thought that improving his endurance to take hits might increase his chances of winning. But with his friend Fatty's help, his endurance didn't improve at all. Instead, he ended up covered in injuries. Just then, a mysterious man suddenly appeared and kicked Shima Ryo flying with one strike. When he woke up again, he realized the person before him was his own master, Kurokawa Ryo-kun. It turned out he had learned that Shima Ryo was going to participate in the IF International Tournament and came specifically to lend him a hand. Ryo-kun told him, only by learning how to focus all the strength of the body into one point could he possibly defeat a Chang. After that, Ryo-kun took Shima Ryo to a place, preparing to teach him a special technique. That was to split the reflection of the moon in the water. But seeing Ryo-kun do it so effortlessly, Shima Ryo just couldn't do it no matter how hard he tried. Unexpectedly, in a fit of rage, he bit his own arm and used his blood to split the moon's reflection. He told Ryo-kun he had done it using his own method. Ryo-kun was momentarily speechless, not knowing how to argue back. In the days that followed, Ryo practiced focusing his power into a single point. Soon, the IF International Tournament began as scheduled. Ryo stepped onto the stage full of confidence. But then, on the big screen, suddenly started playing the news about him murdering his parents. The entire audience fell into dead silence. Many began to point and whisper about him. It turned out the IF International Tournament also needed to attract views. A cold-blooded, ruthless killer like this, if he steps into the ring, will definitely become the target of everyone's criticism. Fan Longhui accepted him regardless of his background, and in the first match, he was beaten to death. Then, Wang Yu's disciple, Ma Qiandao, would step in to avenge Ryo. It was truly killing two birds with one stone. Ryo knew he had become Wang Yu's tool. He was unconvinced and determined to win the match. But as soon as the match started, he saw the gap between himself and a professional fighter. The Muay Thai champion's attacks rained down on him. Ryo did try to counterattack, but to the Muay Thai champion, it was like being tickled. Ryo gradually realized everything Ryo-kun had taught him was completely unusable. During the intermission, Ryo was almost broken from the beating, but Ryo-kun only had one sentence in response: one strike, one kill. The intermission ended, but back in the ring, Ryo was still defenseless. He was soon knocked down, his consciousness fading. In a daze, he suddenly remembered Ryo-kun's teachings and grasped the essence of it. Then, he suddenly exploded with power and knocked the Muay Thai champion out with one punch. In the end, Ryo staged a remarkable comeback and won. But because he ruined Wang Yu's plans, he went directly on stage and announced that the match results were void. He also used the reason that Ryo's moves were too brutal and stripped him of his eligibility to compete. This is the last straw. After the match, Ryo-kun immediately went to find Wang Yu. It turned out he and Wang Yu were once fellow disciples. Back then, when Ryo-kun failed to assassinate the prime minister, it was because Wang Yu had betrayed him. Old and new grudges settled at once. Ryo-kun attacked him immediately. On the other side, Ryo, wanting to have a final showdown with Ma Qiandao, specifically kidnapped his girlfriend and created the illusion that she had been assaulted. Ma Qiandao was burning with rage, swearing to kill Ryo with his own hands. Even when practicing with his junior, he went at full force. Wang Yu saw this and quickly rushed over to stop him, but was sent flying by a punch. It turned out that during his fight with Ryo-kun yesterday, he was struck in the head by a knife-wielding assailant and would go blind soon. You won't be able to see this world clearly anymore. Learn how to sniff banknotes. This could be considered revenge for Ryo. But how could a vengeful man like Wang Yu let it slide so easily? He demanded Ma Qiandao to kill Ryo right there in the ring. After that, Ryo went to ask Ryo-kun for advice on how to beat Ma Qiandao, but he was told he was no match for him. Just then, Ryo-kun took out a box of steroids, which was a type of stimulant. It could greatly unlock his potential, but at the same time, the side effects were severe. Ryo could become violent and lose his mind. But given the situation, he had no other choice. Ryo began training like a maniac. But as he was sparring with Ryo-kun, Ryo-kun suddenly coughed up blood. At this moment, Ryo finally understood why Ryo-kun was able to get out of prison early. It turned out he was suffering from an incurable disease. Ryo-kun used his own life to unleash all the animalistic instincts within his disciple. Ryo's strength finally saw an explosive improvement. As the competition approached, Ryo went to the hospital to steal steroids and unexpectedly ran into his sister Natsumi. But his sister had developed a severe mental illness and no longer remembered who Ryo was. The hospital security guards chased after him. Ryo, due to the steroids, became extremely aggressive and quickly knocked out the security guards. Natsumi witnessed this scene and suddenly became hysterical. "Dad, go away. Dad, don't touch me. Come any closer and I'll kill you." Unexpectedly, upon hearing this, Ryo suddenly covered Natsumi's mouth. It turned out Natsumi had been harassed by her father for years and had become mentally unstable, and her mother turned a blind eye to it all. Finally, that morning, Natsumi suddenly had a breakdown and murdered their parents. Ryo was terrified and didn't know what to do. He was worried his sister couldn't handle the truth, so he took the blame for her. All these years, it was her older brother, Ryo, who had been atoning for Natsumi's crime. Thinking about all of this, Ryo also fell into a state of despair. He kept injecting steroids, causing his left eye to turn red. Ryo immediately lost his sanity and not only knocked out his girlfriend Xiao Hui, but also nearly killed his sister Natsumi. After a long while, Ryo finally regained his composure. He promised his sister he would definitely win this match and never let anyone look down on them again. The match proceeded as scheduled. By now, Ryo, with his blonde hair and one red eye, looked utterly deranged. But once the match began, Ma Qiandao, in both strength and technique, completely overpowered Ryo. Seeing how powerful his opponent's punches were, Ryo tried to use his leg techniques to secure a win, but he was knocked down with a single punch. If it weren't for the end of the first round, he probably wouldn't have survived. The second round began. Ma Qiandao's rhythm grew stronger, and Ryo was completely unable to fight back. Even his brow bone was broken. The doctor believed he was no longer fit to continue, but Ryo desperately clung onto the doctor's leg. Seeing him plead so earnestly, the doctor's heart softened. He then temporarily helped him drain the pooled blood. Watching her brother compete from outside the venue, suddenly recalled that sunny morning, how her brother had borne everything for her. She gently stroked her brother through the television screen. The love between the brother and sister connected them deeply. The two seemed to sense each other. Ryo stood up once more. Even with a bleeding head, even with broken bones, even with no strength to fight back, he still refused to give up, just like a gamecock. And the film's final ending is very interesting. Ma Qiandao threw a punch, and Ryo knew he couldn't block it. So he used his forehead, the hardest part of the human skeleton, to collide head-on. After a smile, Ryo lost consciousness, and Ma Qiandao's right hand was shattered from the impact. After the referee finished the count, Ryo still hadn't woken up. In the end, Ma Qiandao was declared the winner. Just as the whole arena was cheering for him, it suddenly fell into a dead silence, because Ryo stood up again. Although he lost the match, he, with his indomitable will, delivered a fierce slap to all who had looked down on him. The film ends here. Narushima might have lost on the scorecard, but he won his battle against fate. The image of the fighting cock standing up with a blood-red eye is proof. No matter how much the world crushes you, the human will remains unbreakable. What do you think about this brother's sacrifice? Leave your comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss our next intense movie reviews.